So picture this. You're just casually scrolling on your phone, and suddenly you see it. This thick, beautifully molded chocolate bar. But honestly, it's not the outside that stops you in your tracks. Someone grabs the bar, they slowly snap it in half, and right there, in ultra-crisp, high-definition slow motion, you hear this absolutely incredible crack. The chocolate yields, and it reveals this vibrant, golden-green pistachio filling, woven with these mysterious, super crispy strands. The filling stretches out perfectly, racking up hundreds of millions of views across the globe, and boom, you are instantly hooked. Welcome to our explainer on the chocolate that completely broke the internet.
Okay, let's dive into this. How on earth did a single dessert from a local chocolatier in Dubai, of all places, trigger a global obsession? I mean, we've seen viral foods before, right? But this was entirely different. Today, we're going to deconstruct the whole phenomenon. We'll look at the exact ingredients that totally hacked our taste buds, the social media algorithms that threw gasoline on the fire, and how this specific treat evolved from a niche, local craving into a massive, worldwide cultural event.
Section 1, Anatomy of a Viral Dessert, Decoding the Visual Signature. Right, to really understand this craze, we have to look closely at the striking visual components of this treat. You start with a thick, perfectly tempered shell of chocolate, but the interior, that is where the absolute magic happens. It's a bright green pistachio cream packed with these really unusual, highly textured crispy bits. Those golden strands you see? They're called Kataifi. It's a traditional Middle Eastern shredded pastry, spun super thin and baked until it's perfectly crispy. That's what gives it that signature, highly audible crunch you keep hearing. But here's the real secret weapon. It isn't just the Kataifi or the pistachio, it's tahini. That savory sesame paste cuts right through the sugar, completely balancing the sweetness with these deep, toasted, nutty flavors.
And this brilliantly illustrates a fascinating food science concept known as texture contrast. Just think about it for a second. You have the creamy, rich pistachio and tahini paste encased in perfectly smooth, snapping chocolate. And all of that is surrounding the fiercely crispy Kataifi pastry. When you bite into this thing, your brain receives an absolute rush of contrasting sensory inputs. It's creamy, smooth, and crunchy, all at exactly the same time. It's like a giant puzzle of flavors. This specific combination creates an incredibly unusual, almost irresistible sensory experience that just keeps you coming back for more.
Section 2. The Kunafa Cultural Connection. Rooted in tradition, reinvented for today.
Now, while this chocolate might feel totally brand new to a lot of us, it's actually heavily inspired by Kunafa. That's a beloved, traditional Middle Eastern dessert that also uses that same crispy shredded pastry and pistachios. But what we're looking at here is a modern, localized reinvention that's been beautifully re-engineered specifically for a chocolate bar format. So where did this specific creation actually come from? Let's trace the timeline. It goes back to a Dubai-based company called Fix Dessert Chocolatier and its founder, Sarah Hamouda. And the origin story is just incredibly relatable. She was dealing with intense pregnancy cravings and was deeply inspired by Dubai's really rich, multicultural food scene. What started as a simple idea just spread like wildfire. Literally within 3 to 4 months, local Dubai sales turned into a massive social media explosion, transforming this very specific recipe into a total global phenomenon.
Section 3. The TikTok Tipping Point. ASMR and the perfect visual reveal. Let's move to and see how this builds in the digital realm, transforming what was just a delicious local product into an absolute visual masterpiece. The sequence of breaking this chocolate open, it was basically engineered in a lab for TikTok and Instagram algorithms. The pacing is absolutely crucial and so dynamic. First, you get the satisfying heavy knife cutting through that thick shell. Then, the loud ASMR-triggering snap of the chocolate itself. Next is that stunning visual contrast, the bright green pistachio reveal popping right against the brown chocolate, followed immediately by that stretchy, gooey Kataifi pull. Add in the genuine wide-eyed taste reactions from the creators trying it, and you've got an incredibly satisfying, hypnotic loop. Viewers literally couldn't scroll past it.
Section 4. The Psychology of the Trend. Why did everyone suddenly want it? Because this wasn't just about pretty visuals, folks. There was a deep psychological engine driving this global frenzy.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that it all comes down to consumer behavior and a few very powerful psychological triggers. First up, scarcity and exclusivity. Originally, you could only get this in Dubai at specific times through highly limited drops. Naturally, this created intense FOMO, fear of missing out. As you scrolled through your feed, it seemed like literally everyone was experiencing it but you. Plus, the instant visual recognition of that specific green and brown color palette made it impossible to ignore. Pair all of that with the aspirational association of Dubai's luxury lifestyle and the massive social proof from influencers everywhere. Well, you have a perfect recipe for unprecedented consumer demand.
Section 5. The business of viral food. From a single product to a global flavor trend. Because, when demand outpaces supply on a global scale, the market reacts immediately. Almost overnight, bakeries, cafes, and home chefs from the US to Europe all the way to South and East Asia realized something. If they couldn't import the actual chocolate, they would just start making it themselves. Very quickly, Dubai chocolate stopped being just a candy bar. It evolved into an entire global flavor profile. That signature combination of pistachio, tahini, and crispy Kataifi started showing up inside donuts, croissants, cheesecakes, and even ice cream. And this highlights a massive shift in the modern culinary world. Food brands are increasingly designing their products specifically to be camera-friendly. The original chocolate bar essentially birthed a completely new, highly profitable viral business model and an entirely new flavor category. So the crucial point is we need to draw a clear line between the authentic origin and what happened next. On one hand, you have the original viral product from Fix Dessert Chocolatier. It's highly scarce, it commands premium pricing, and it's locally made in Dubai with very specific standards. On the other hand, you have this massive, sprawling industry of Dubai chocolate-inspired products. These are mass-market items, you'll find them in international supermarkets, taking various dessert forms, and often using blatant copycat branding just to directly capitalize on the hype. And as with any massive trend, we have to impartially look at the darker side of things. Extreme, sudden popularity inevitably breeds complications. The intense demand led to severe shortages and incredibly high prices on the secondary market. Get this, some people were paying the price of a fancy steak dinner for a single candy bar. No way, right? We saw widespread counterfeit products perfectly mimicking the original packaging, alongside entirely misleading viral videos. Even more concerning, there have been genuine food safety issues from unofficial, unregulated sellers pushing homemade knockoffs. And of course, there's the inevitable wave of trademark and copyright disputes. It's basically a classic case study of what happens when global demand vastly outstrips an official supply.
Section 6. A lasting global trend. The future of viral desserts.
So why did this all happen in Dubai? Because the city's unique blend of luxury, multicultural culinary traditions, and pure social media dominance made it the perfect incubator. Which brings us to our final, lingering question. Will Dubai chocolate remain a lasting cultural staple, or is it just another fleeting internet trend destined to fade when the next big thing comes along? Regardless of what happens to the hype in the long run, this simple treat proved something genuinely remarkable. It showed us that in the age of social media, a dessert doesn't just have to be something you quickly eat after dinner. It can actually become a shared, global cultural event. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. The next time you see a viral food trend taking over your feed, well, you'll know exactly how it was engineered.